podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
You're listening to Achtung Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Hello dear listeners, welcome one and all, welcome to Achtung Millwall. My name is Nick Hart. You're listening to the number one Millwall podcast, and this is our voicemail edition in the wake of yesterday's 2-2 draw at Oxford United. Football's a funny old sport, dear listeners, isn't it? There's a lot of emotion that goes into the same situation. Let's consider if we're chasing a game and we get a late equaliser, makes it 2 each, as Oxford did yesterday. You feel like you've almost won the game. And Alex Neil speaking post-match yesterday, as we conceded to give away a lead 2-1 with just seconds remaining in the match, you feel like you've lost, and yet the same net result occurs. Both teams get the same level of points, and we maintain an unbeaten record, but you still are left with that sense of having lost something. What's that old saying about you've lost the 20 quid and found a fiver? That kind of vibe. That's the emotion and emotive nature of football. I must admit, in the moment when that goal went in yesterday at the Kassam Stadium, I felt gutted. Today, in a cold light of day, a bit of logic, it was a good away point in the end. A very difficult afternoon. The conditions at the stadium weren't easy for anyone. Both sides playing in the same wind and rain. And so it's the same for both sides, but it is a reducer, and the good football that Millwall have been playing of late went out the window, rather. The lineup yesterday, Alex Neil named the same starting 11 that did so well in previous matches last week, especially against Leicester City, but Crocombe in goal. He actually did quite well. I watched the edited highlights this morning on the Millwall Club channel, dear listeners, and they actually made some good saves in, like I say, in tough, slippery conditions. Crocombe in goal, backline Ryan Leonard, who's exited the game with an injury late in proceedings. Then we wait to see how long that's going to keep Ryan out for. Let's hope not long. Tristan Kramer and Jake Cooper, two titans in central defence on a day where you're going to be bombarded, and as Oxford did, they did bombard us, and they've got to keep them at bay. And they, largely speaking, did great jobs, but in the end, we just fell slightly short with the two spectacular goals. There's not an awful lot you can do about spectacular strikes like Oxford got yesterday. So, defensively, I thought we were pretty good overall, so odd as it might sound, in a 2-goal concession game. Zach Sturge on the left side. Denor and Derek in the two defence. I think we improved a lot when Derek came out of the game and Billy Mitchell came in. We suddenly acquired more energy, particularly in the wake of the loss of Femi Aziz after about half an hour. Aziz, Kundal and Bello being the attacking three. We've come to really depend on Femi. His arrival back in the side after injury led to a phase of really good form, and I'm really hoping that his departure to what looked like a hamstring injury won't lead to another dip in performances. But anyway, he is a talisman. He's one of our, if not our best player, and his loss was immediately felt yesterday with a collective dropping of heads, I suppose. There was certainly like a sense of a loss of strange on a windy day, but to say the only analogy I can think is the wind went from our sails, and we drifted a little bit until Billy came in and brought back that vim and pep and energy into midfield. Bello, good goal, nice finish from a very strange opening one, the long throw in from Ryan Leonard, and somehow it bounced, and the Oxford defence went to sleep, leaving Bello to nod in from close range. Took it well, and fair play to the boy. Ivanovic up front, who I think was in a struggle. I mean, these were big lump defenders up against, and he's not in the best of form at the moment. The boy is searching and almost like blind man's buff. He's got a blindfold on, and he's wandering around a room with somewhere in the room is goal scoring form, and he's trying to find it. He can't lay his hands on it at the moment. I actually mistook the goal scorer. You might have heard on my live coverage. I thought it was Ivanovic who got the goal in real time. Embarrassed myself. It was Jake Cooper, of course, tapped in from close from that slap shot from Tristan Kramer. But there we are. As I say, at the start of the day, if you'd have offered me 2-2, I probably would have taken it. Would you, dear listeners? I think just having got in front in a scrappy old game, you look to your side to see it through. But I've got to take my hat off to Gary Rowett, who came over at the end of proceedings yesterday to clap the away support, and I thought that was big because he'd been slated during the game. He's getting all the old "your football is shit" chants, and to come over and clap the away fans, it was a big man. He organised Oxford as I would have expected Gary Rowett to do, and it's effective football, if not pretty. We know all about that, dear listeners. There we are. Point leaves us fourth in the table now. 1 point behind Middlesbrough in second, so not disastrous. Could have been better, of course, but could have been a lot worse yesterday. So that's the way I'm going to try and look at it. Now then, this is the voicemail show, dear listeners. Big thank you to everyone who's sent in voice notes. There were a couple included in my live coverage of yesterday's proceedings. So if you're not hearing your voicemail on this show, it will be on the back end of part 1 of the coverage of the Oxford away trip. So anyway, we're going to start off now with a new caller. It's a big welcome to Jamie. Take it away, Jamie.
Hi Nick, Jamie Downs here. First time message, but obviously a long time listener. I thought I'd call in and do a message today because I had a bit of a different perspective today than most games I go to, because I was actually in the home end, opposite the away fans, right next to the dugout. And look, I thought it was extremely unlucky today. I think they scored from, they had hardly any chances and scored from 2 great strikes, the first one in particular. But right next to Alex Neil, and could hear him the whole game. And he had come over some really two frustrations, I think, with 2 particular players that I see was Negley. He was on him all game, and quite rightly, because I think when he did come on and obviously Femi come off, I thought it killed the game to some extent. I think he offered next to nothing, and from what I could see with Alex right in front of me, he didn't pull no punches on him. And then in the second half, with Idemo, he done the same with him, and quite rightly, he wasn't pulling his weight. He didn't track back, and my pleasing thing from today, despite the late goal, was that. I mean, he demands a lot, and every time the ball went up, he was in a strong Scottish accent. You could hear him quite clearly across the whole crowd. Was what he was shouting, up, out. It was quite impressive, actually. I'm really impressed with the guy at the moment, and yeah. As for the result, yeah, look, it's disappointing. It feels like a loss, doesn't it? Really, and I'm sure everyone's gone home feeling the same. But would we have took a draw at the start? Probably not on the run we're on. But on reflection, it's not the worst result in the world. But yeah, it's a hard one to take. Well, certainly for me and me 8-year-old boy Charlie. I mean, we were the only ones in the home section of the whole of the Kazam that basically didn't move. Well, we did move. We got up and fucked off. But yeah, that was a tough one to take, I've got to admit. But yeah, apart from that, good day all for all. And yeah, I thought the boys done well. I think they worked hard. I mean, I had Ryan Leonard right in front of me, and I don't think it was an injury when he come off. I think he was just absolutely fucked. He looked fucked. There was a bit where he done that run where he needed, to be fair to him, nearly scored. But I think that was any juice that he had left was gone at that point. But yeah, thanks for the call, Nick. Hope it's all well. And yeah, roll on Tuesday. See how we go, eh?
Fantastic stuff, Jamie. Big welcome to the show, mate. More, mate. I love that. Yeah, it's interesting to hear about Alex Neil's attitude towards Negley and Imarco. Negley is very expensive. I've got more time for Idemo Imarco. I don't know about listeners. I don't know if I've got a soft spot for the boy. He came across very well at that end of season dinner that I was at back in May. Seems a long time ago now. Different world almost. It came over well, and maybe that softened my attitude. Also, he hasn't cost us that much money, whereas Camille Negley has a touch of the superstar quality about him. I don't know. Am I being unfair there, listeners? Certainly, it sounds like Alex Neil is demanding more from both of them, and rightly so, because as soon as Femi Aziz, who looks a much more complete player and looks like the kind of boy, if he can stay fit, that might be an issue for him, but if he can stay fit, for me, he looks like he's Premier League level. And he really, as Aziz was leaving the pitch, I've said it already on the other part one show. You could see from our angle as he walked down the tunnel, he slapped the wall in frustration. So I'm guessing he knows that he's a hamstring, and it might be a bit of a while before he's back in the side. And it seems like that's a problem for him. Hopefully not. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But Negley, yeah, we looked a less of a side, and the whole team seemed to lose its way towards the end of the first half, leading to the equaliser. Which was a spectacular shot, wasn't it? It was that hit from the edge of the D, I think it was, and he caught it brilliantly. I mean, I can't Brannigan, I think the boy's name. He seems to be a local hero. As I was walking back to my car after the game, you could see all the kids had Brannigan written on the back of their Oxford United shirt, so he's clearly a local favourite. And you can see why it flew into the top corner. I don't think anything that Crocombe could have done, or any other goalkeeper for that match. You'd have to be Gordon Banks on steroids to have got anywhere close to that. So no, well, fair play to them for that goal, but that was largely down to the loss of spirit of the Mill side as Femi Aziz left. Now I love Femi Aziz to bits. I'm a huge admirer of him. Had a great interview with him in the week with the other boys from the other podcasts. But we can't be that dependent on one player. We have to find an alternative. It's interesting what you're saying about the digging out of Imaku and Negley by Alex Neil, and I'm wondering whether, we all ask the same question, Jamie, don't we? Where's Race Bangura? And maybe that's another issue, that Alex Neil is not seeing the work rate from these boys that he wants or that he demands. I've got a lot of time for Alex Neil. I think he's a very intelligent manager, and I think, as you've just said there, he don't stand any nonsense, does he? So big thank you, Jamie. Keep them coming, mate. Now let's have a listen now maybe to John Rankin. Take it away, John.
Good evening, Nick. Good evening, listeners. John Rankin just ringing in after that sort of disappointing 2-2 draw, really, at Oxford. We came away feeling that we'd been beaten, actually, that we'd, 2 valuable points dropped. I thought we were a better team, I really do. I thought we dominated in the first half up until when Femi Aziz went off. And then when Femi went off with an injury, and we're yet to hear the update on that, hope he's okay, we kind of lost our way a little bit. We lost all direction. He was our main outlet. And I noticed that the way that we got out was for Ryan Leonard to float the ball down the channel and Femi Aziz to control it and take on the opposition left back. And really, we were dominating. And I thought the first goal was sort of well deserved. And we had so many chances afterwards. Jake Cooper came very close with a free header in the 6-yard areas, which, to be fair, maybe you should have put that in the back of the net, but he had a great game, Jake Cooper, and he scored our second goal in the first half. I mean, what can you say about Oxford? They, they scored a worldie. That Cameron, whatever his name is, Brannigan. The equaliser they scored right at the end of the first half. You can't really do much about that. We lost a bit of possession. The guy rolled it into his path and he struck it superbly. I think it was helped by the wind a little bit. And into the top corner it went. And I mean, body blow, but we were still feeling quite positive. I think we had this side was for the taking, and we came out, and it was absolutely great to see Jake Cooper score the second goal. And it was created by a shot from Tristan Camera. So amazing that the two centre-backs really scored there. Combined to score our second goal. A lot of positives to take, and a lot of learning, I think, can be done from that game. For me, one of the main sort of learning curves there was Camille Negley. Now, when he came on to replace Femi Aziz, and, he wasn't much cop, to be honest with you. Femi when he was on, was running the channels, and Leonard was floating a nice high ball up to him, and Femi was controlling it. But Camille Negley is clearly not a winger. He doesn't know how to play there, and I was watching him, and what he was doing was he was drifting back towards the halfway line and going looking for the ball to his feet. He's not a winger, and you cannot play him out on the wing. I don't know what Alex Neil's doing with that, you know what I mean? But he's the gaffer. He knows best. When Billy Mitchell came on and Camille Negley swapped, he took Luke Cundle off and put Camille Negley on number 10. As the commentator said, I watched the extended highlights. Camille Negley started to impose himself on the game, and I've been saying this all season. He wears 10 on his back, play him at number 10, and he started to control the game. He was getting hold of the ball in the centre of the park, moving us forward. He had a couple of superb runs, and that is his position. And I think for me, that's one of the major things we've learned from that game. You play Camille Negley at number 10, right? So a lot of positives to take. The second goal, the equaliser in the 97th minute when there was 5 minutes extra time, was just, it was a sucker punch. It really was. And a little bit of tiredness. Oxford were slogging away. It was a difficult game for both goalkeepers. And I think our goalie did well to stop the initial free kick from Brannigan. And, we just didn't clear our lines. And we got it out, it came back in. And it's just one of those things, we were gutted, obviously. We were talking about it on the drive home, but at the end of the day, we picked up a point on the road. Gary Rowett set up well against us, and I'm not too disheartened. I think we've learnt a lot from that performance. I've got to say this now, Ivanovic needs to start upping his game a little bit. I've got to say that. We need to stick with him, but he was absent again today. I saw one or two headers, flick-on headers, and he's really got to start bringing himself up a little bit. That centre-half he was up against was not, he was a good, competent centre-half, but he was nothing special. And really, if you watch someone like Kiefer Moore at Wrexham the night before, there you go. That's the golfing class, really. And I'm a big fan of Mihailo Ivanovic, but he's got to start raising his game now and imposing himself. It's not about scoring goals, it's about being the front man and leading the line, and he's not doing that. And it showed when Femi Aziz went off, we were rudderless, absolutely rudderless. So I hope Femi Aziz is not too badly injured. More power to Millwall. My man of the match was Jake Cooper. I thought he made a great contribution, scored a goal, real captain's performance, and it's on to Birmingham away. So come on, you Lions.
Excellent stuff, John. Thank you, mate. Yeah, I've got to agree with you about Ivanovic. On a difficult day, I think how many times I have a fiver every time I've said that in my reviews of yesterday's game. It was windy and it was wet, but so it was for Oxford. That is a reducer, of course, but we are looking for more from Mihailo Ivanovic if he does have aspirations to play at a higher level, and that's all we heard about during the summertime. Serie A, Parma, all this kind of stuff. Well, you're not going to do that by making no mark at all in the Championship. Sad, but that's the hard nature of professional sport, dear listeners. Same with Camille Negley. I don't know enough about football technicalities to say whether he's better in the 10 position or on the wing. He wasn't much yesterday. If he's improving in the more central position, then it's got to be worth a try. But then Luke Cundle didn't do badly yesterday. The loss of Femi Aziz was the big moment, as John and others have identified. We can't be that dependent on Femi. If he's going to be out for a little while, he might well be. We're going to need to find a solution. That is Alex Neil's strong point, finding solutions to problems. It's how we've come this far this season. So fingers crossed for that. The other thing I would say is that watching the edit, what they call them, the extended highlights on the club channel, we actually had a few chances there, which in real time I hadn't quite absorbed. You get caught in the moment of the game when you're there, but we missed some chances. There was opportunities for. I think Ballo had a chance. Jake Cooper had a header. I remember in the first half, and that great run by Ryan Leonard that. Was blasted on target. Another day that goes in the net, but we did have opportunities to score which weren't taken. Ivanovic wasn't really in the picture. When the goal went in, the second goal, I actually thought it was Ivanovic who got the goal. I hadn't realised till I've driven back to London that it was Jake Cooper. There we are. That's the confusion of football in the moment. So a big thank you to the two boys. We're going to take a short break for advertising purposes and we'll come back with Mike George.
I turned off news altogether.
I hate to say it, but I don't trust much of anything.
It's the rage bait.
It feels like it's trying to divide people.
If we got clear facts, maybe we can calm down a little.
NBC News brings you clear reporting. Let's meet at the facts. Let's move forward from there. NBC News, reporting for America.
Achtung, Millwall.
So, a draw at Oxford. Did we deserve to win? Debatable. Did Oxford deserve a draw? Yes, I probably think they did. I thought we were looking good until we lost Femi. After that, we lost shape and Oxford began to come at us. In fact, it wasn't until Billy and Idemo came on that we looked dangerous again and Coops got his goal. The last 5 minutes was no surprise from a Rowett team, and as good as we are at the back, with so many bodies in and around our goal, there was always a chance that they might nick something. One thing the game did highlight is something of a worry, and that is the big fucking Serbian is nowhere near the form he was in last season. Of course, we have no idea what is going on with him, but at the moment, he doesn't look like he could score in a brothel, let alone on a football pitch. What might help is having someone up top with him, and Neil might want to think about that. So, with Stoke City smashing 4, we slipped to 4th in the table, which, to be honest, feels a more comfortable fit and less vulnerable at this point of the season. With the Christmas period racing towards us far quicker than we would like, that would be a crucial time that could make or break any ambitions that we might have. However, we have more immediate problem, of course, Birmingham City to deal with. So let's hope Alex can get the squad's heads up and fit and ready to face a Blues side that will be full of confidence after their result today. Come on, you Lions, keep the faith.
Morning, Nick. Jim Hackett here after yesterday's very disappointing draw. I know it's a point away from home, but I think I'll speak with everybody when I say that it's one that we should have seen out and deserve to win, really. It's football, it's Millwall, and we all know how that goes. But ultimately, it was just a disappointing end to the game because there was absolutely no time afterwards to go on and get a win because, you know, they sort of got to the end and that was it. I think looking at the team, I don't think anybody would moan about the team. Individual players, again, everybody did their bit. I don't think anybody stood out, but at the same time, I don't think anybody was dreadful and cost us anything. I think looking at the game and thinking about everything that went on during the game, that there's some sort of errors in selection, not team selection, but probably process selection, in as much as the weather, the players' choices, things that went on during the game that led to our downfall, not helped by an absolute shocking referee who it appeared couldn't sort of wait to give a foul against us or a decision against us, and didn't look as even as it should have done when you see some of the stuff that went on throughout the whole game. But I did have a theory in the first half when I watched it on TV, and one of the first things that got said is that Jake Cooper won the toss and went, if you like, changed the teams around and went against the wind and the rain and everything that was going. And I remember back to sort of when I was younger, played football, captain, whatever, you always were told to go with the elements. You know, if you've got the elements in your favour, which is the wind really, then go with it, because you never know what's going to happen in the 90 minutes. Things might change around, and it looked yesterday like that happened. And having gone through a first half where we were up against the elements and they were pretty sort of torrid looking at the game, then the second half didn't look as bad, and unfortunately I think we sort of paid a price there slightly. But you know, it's one of those basic things that I think maybe should be looked at a little bit more. And if he is going to turn teams around or make a decision, base it on what's there and now, not what he thinks might happen with a crowd in the second half or anything like that. So for me, just playing against the elements in the first half didn't do us any favours. I thought we took a little bit of time to get into the game, and we sort of went okay. We looked threatening every time the ball got put into their box, and ultimately got our goal. But just before that, I think Ballo had missed a sort of simple chance in theory, but ultimately snatched it, went wide or high, whatever it went, and he missed, and then made up for it a couple of minutes later with his header into the goal. We then missed two good chances, I think, to score, where the ball came in and there was a header from Cooper and a header from, I think it was Kramer. But, you know, there were two opportunities there where we really should have at least made the goalkeeper work a little bit. And then ultimately, the way that Oxford played, to be fair, they got the ball down when they could. They got the ball out wide when they could. And the lad Mills for Oxford, he's a player that is a winger, you know, and you can see every time he got the ball, he wanted to do something with it. And ultimately, he did do something with it right in the last knock-ins of the first half and played it across to their skipper, who, to be fair, was a great shot and not a lot that Croken could do with that. And I don't think anybody was at fault for that. I just think it was the way the game was. We were scrapping for the ball on the right-hand side. It came loose to one of their players who put it onto their right-hand side, and then it ends up in the back of our net. So that was disappointing to go into half-time at that point, because we were not hanging on, but we looked like we were going to succumb to a lot of Oxford pressure at that point. And then the second half, I think, well, I'll go back to the first half, because obviously Aziz got injured, came off, and it looked like, you know, for 10, 15 minutes, the players really didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to deal with it. Negley didn't really seem to fit into the system at all that was out there. And then we got into the second half, and it pretty much went the same way until he made the substitutions. And I think at that point, by putting Negley into the 10 and bringing Marku on, we looked again like we knew what we were doing. And Billy coming on for Derek, who didn't really have that great a game, then it sort of made a massive difference to us. And then we looked a lot more threatening, a lot more chance creating. And there was one that where the ball came in, and I think it was Kundal, who probably should have done a little bit better with it and put it wide. But we always looked at that point that we could get a goal, and then it was a good goal when it came along. Kramer did really well to get his shot in, and Cooper was there to sweep it in on his 400th appearance. And I couldn't see us losing from that point until we then started giving the referee some easy decisions to make. Some of our tackles and our fouls were so ridiculous that you've got to question your mentality of some of the players. You know, they were just giving the referee easy options to take. Obviously, we weren't getting the decisions the other way, but, you know, that's how the game was. And the more fouls we created, I think the more the pressure built on our players. And with the best will in the world, we still had 2 or 3 half chances where we broke, and with a bit more either composure or quality, we could have got that third goal and been away and out of sight. But we didn't. And then the last 5 minutes, I think everything Oxford were throwing at us, you know, we were dealing with, unless the ball was on the floor. And as soon as it was on the floor, we looked like we were getting close to players. And as soon as we did, the referee will give a foul, and then he'd give another foul, and then he'd give another one. And the one that sort of created their winning goal wasn't a foul. You know, you could see the lad he threw himself to the floor, and the absolute knob that was a referee gave the foul. Croker made a fantastic save. The ball got recycled back out, and then the lad wants to put a cross in. Mark could get his foot to it, and of everything that happened, it just spun straight into the lad, who hit it very well into the bottom corner. And it was a travesty that they got a goal back, but we've only got ourselves to blame, I think, for the way we defended that last 5, 6, 7 minutes, whatever it was. And I was sort of slightly disappointed, but for me, it was the unlimited fouls we were giving away needlessly. And I think if you look at some of the players, they didn't cover themselves in glory with some of the stupidity that went on. But ultimately, it was a point. We're still unbeaten away from home. We could have obviously walked away with 3 points with a bit better sort of composure in the game. But, as it is, we've ended up with 1 point. Gary Rowett keeps his record against Alex Neil going, and we're all deadly disappointed. But we've now got to look at going on to Tuesday. The team he picks on Tuesday is going to be very interesting, because I think Negley may well have played himself into that 10 role, apart from maybe his industry is not going to be as much as Cundall's is in there. But you can see the quality he's got on the board, and I think that might work very well from us against a team who are going to come at us and look to sort of overpower us, as Birmingham will, or they'll look to overpower us. Whether they will or not, I don't know. But we've got to have some sort of get out, and I thought Negley looked quite comfortable in that position. My sort of main worry, if I'm looking at our squad or our team, is that Ivanovic just doesn't look the player that we'd hoped he would turn into, and we have no options. So, we've got to go with that. And I just thought yesterday we carried him a bit. And unfortunately, we're not a good enough team to carry any players. When we've got everybody firing and semi-firing, in fact, then we're not too bad. But we can't afford to carry a player like him. And, of all the positions that we don't want to do it, that's the one. But defenders play well, midfielders play well. I think Balla was a little off it yesterday, but he's still got enough in his locker to do some damage when it can do. So ultimately, we'll see where we go on Tuesday. But I think Harding will come in for Leonard, and then it could be Negley slotting into that centre midfield and Marco on the right. But we'll see. But we've got a point. We should be grateful for that, because the games like that in the past we've lost and moaned and groaned about it. So on to Birmingham Tuesday. So come on, you Lions.
Thank you, Jim. And before him, Mike George. Just talking about the weather, Jim makes the point about the wind dropping in the second half. I can certainly vouch for that. I was looking across the stadium. There was like a first aid hut, I think it was, on the far side in the gap between the two stands, and there some flags on top of it. And in the first half, they were almost horizontal, in the wind. It was a very strong wind that was going, as it turned out, with Oxford. And if we won the toss, then yeah, I'm with you 100% there, Jim. I hadn't realised we won the toss and changed ends, because that makes little sense. Second half, it certainly dropped down. The flags were hanging limp in the second half. Rain didn't drop. The rain was as bad for the first half as it was the second, but certainly the wind factor dropped after that first half, and I think it did help with Leicester's equaliser, that's for sure, in the first half. Second half, yeah, there was some naive tackling, I think you're right, which is interesting, because I thought we showed a lot of nous recently in our recent games against Leicester and Stoke and the others. Taking the ball to the corner in situations, running down the clock, all that kind of thing. And we didn't do that yesterday. It was almost like we lost the plot generally. I don't know why. Maybe it was the effect of the conditions. I don't know. I think everyone was just really glad when the game was over. It did look like hard work out there. And I think it was John earlier on in this show said how Ryan Leonard looked exhausted after that run forwards and shot. It was a tremendous run, tremendous shot, well saved. But he did look a bit spent after that. So, it's not easy. It's all very well for me to stand up in the Oxford birdshit corner talking about the this, that and the other, but it looked like a very hard trench warfare style afternoon out there. The Ivanovic question is the big one, Jim, isn't it? Mike George, I love that phrase, Mike, can't score in a brothel. I've always enjoyed that phrase, I don't know why. It always makes me laugh every time I hear it. But it sums up the situation with Ivanovic. We don't have much in the way of alternative. They've got the youngster, haven't we, AJ Matthews, who we don't hear about much. Apart from that, it's Macaulay Langstaff, who presents industry without much in the way of goal threat. I'm wondering whether that might be a decent substitution for Ivanovic, because he's not really doing much to justify his position. I think it was Jim just said there that he was carrying him. And maybe he needs a bit of a reset in some way. I don't know. Easy to say, but certainly when the ball went in for the second goal, and in my folly, I thought he'd scored it. I thought, was great. This is the chance for the boy to kick on now. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be happening for him at the moment. And of course, it was Jake. 400 appearance, Jake. Let's pay tribute again to Jake Cooper. Anyway, big thank you, Jim. Big thank you, Mike George. We're going to listen now to Rob Abbott.
Morning, Nick Hart, Rob Abbott here. Yes, Sunday morning. Still a little bit gutted after that yesterday. Ups and downs, hey? Ups and downs. I said it's from game one, but yeah, that would have been a very valuable and an excellent 3 points if we hung on yesterday. But in hindsight, yeah, if you would have offered me a point beforehand, I probably would have taken it. Obviously, we know how Gary Rowett sets up his teams, how hard they are to beat, etc. He's also got an incredible record against Alex Neil. So beforehand, I would have taken a point, but to concede so late, yeah, it's gutting. But anyhow, just I thought we were absolutely brilliant, thoroughly deserved our 1-0 lead. And then the injury of Femi Aziz sort of knocked us back a little bit. And Oxford, I think, stepped their game up and took over the game there, because we were fully in control before that injury. And Oxford, fair play, they got a hold of the game. And yeah, they equalised. Cracking strike, to be fair. Nothing Crocombe can do. I don't think that's much the defenders can do. So give credit there, but obviously disappointed to concede right on half time. Then the second half, look, after losing Aziz and conceding, it could have been the downward spiral, but it shows that there's a lot about this team, I think. I'm going to praise the introduction of Billy Mitchell for Derek. Derek, I'm not going to criticise Derek. He's been brilliant since he's come in. It's probably his worst game or his least effective game that he's played for us so far. But Mitchell come in and took full control of that game. I'm also going to say the substitute of getting Amaku on for Kundal and moving Negley into the 10 helped the way that we played. And yeah, we took it to Oxford and we got the second goal, and I thought we looked very, very bright. Oxford had nothing to offer. And yeah, we were deservedly in the lead. And then, yeah, at the end, it's just very, very disappointing, isn't it? Like, as Alex Neil said in his interview, we got the headed clearance away, and then, yeah, we just couldn't get enough bodies around to block that shot or block it in an effective way. But it is what it is. Ups and downs, another point, 5 unbeaten, and we move on to Birmingham. And if you're up there, I will look out for you and say hello if I see you, because I'm going to be across Birmingham on Tuesday night. Got to add, let's bounce back on Tuesday, and the big thing on Tuesday pre-game who will be in that team to replace Aziz. I personally think, albeit I've been a little bit critical of him this year, just purely from a stats reason, even though he's been very threatening, I think we have to give Idemo a start on that right. Yeah, just purely to keep the pace in the team and to keep the opposition on the back foot when we can. So that would be my preference. I wouldn't be surprised if Mitchell starts instead of Derek on Tuesday night. And then, look, let's hope Lenny's okay, but if not, the only real option we got to put there is Wes Harding, because the injuries are adding up again. But look, onwards and upwards, still sitting 4th in the league, long way to go. Keep being positive.
Cheers, Rob. Yeah, thank you for that, mate. I'll be watching Brum on TV, mate, unfortunately. Won't be able to get up there for the evening match. Make you right about Billy. I would expect it to be a Billy and Casper Denor 2 in the kind of defensive midfield roles at St Andrews Tuesday night. The difference that Billy made when he came in yesterday, whether he's got enough in the petrol tank to last out 90 minutes or not, I don't know. Same with Casper, really, both have not long returned from injury. But Derek did look a little bit overrun. I think it's been a big few weeks for him. And as I've said repeatedly, another fiver in my pocket for saying the conditions yesterday weren't easy for him. And will be something totally different to what he's been brought up with in southern France. So yeah, I'd expect Billy, just for the industry. I mean, the difference that he made yesterday was quite incredible. Fingers crossed for Brum, Rob, and everyone. I think that's about as much as we can say at the moment. It is a strange sport, football, as I've said already on these shows. You do have a sense of loss when you've had a late equaliser, whereas if it was the other way round, you have a sense of victory, even though the end result, a point, remains the same. We'll take a very short break, then we're going to come back with Hassan and the remainder of the voice notes.
Achtung, Millwall.
Alright Nick, it's Hassan here. Just on the way back from Oxford 2, Millwall 2. It's a right shame we couldn't get that win right at the end there, you know. Fucking bastards, Oxford, to get that last minute equaliser. I thought overall we played some good football. It was nice to see an unchanged side, and we started quite brightly and deservedly went ahead through Ballo. I'm very happy for him to get his first goal, but it has to be said the game changed when Aziz went off. There was a period after he went off where I don't think we could get near the ball, and as for Aziz, he's just made of glass, and I think we have to face facts now. He's never going to complete a full season. I don't know what happened. I just read a quick interview with Alex Neil. Apparently, it's a hamstring, so another one to the fucking list. I just don't get it, mate. You know, how are we going to have any ambition of being in the playoffs when we can't maintain an 11 every game? I just don't fucking get it, honestly. But yeah, we made some changes. Negley came on, and again, it doesn't work for him on the right hand side. We huffed and puffed until half time, and they get to be fair, it was a decent equaliser. The goal itself, I haven't watched it back, but from what I saw, he hit it well and right into the far corner. It's maybe a bit harsh. Again, I need to see the goal back, but I think Denor could have done more. From what I've seen, a few little clips, he was right on top of the guy who scored the goal and should have done more to stop it, but I need to see it back to be 100%. Second half started, and I felt like we were just licking our wounds a little bit. We felt a little bit flat. To be fair to Alex Neil, he made a very good tactical swap around the hour mark. He took Kundu off, which I believe is in preparation for the Birmingham game, to make him fit for that. And bringing on Amaku and bringing on Billy Mitchell, that changed the game. Getting Negley off the wing, put him in the middle, put Amaku wide, and getting Billy in there, it changed the game and it changed in our favour, and we deservedly got a second goal. And you know, as we all know, it wasn't enough to see it out. I'll be honest with you, I thought I wasn't nervous because they weren't really doing it. Crocombe wasn't tested. It was only in the 5 minutes of stoppage time. He saved that free kick, but unfortunately the same bit of play led to them getting an equaliser. We don't clear our lines very well. You know, it's disappointing really to concede like that. And the goal they scored, it goes through a sea of bodies. On another day, it bounces and goes wide. But do you know what? I mean, let's try and be positive. It's a point on the road. We're still unbeaten away from home. The only negative I'd say in this 3-game week, we got Birmingham Tuesday night. I would have liked to have won today because I can't see us winning at Birmingham. And with Aziz out, I think we'll be great. I think we're lucky to get a draw, to be honest with you. I think Birmingham is going to be a very, very challenging game, and they always seem to fucking get one over us. You know, they're a very funny side, and I think they won 4-0 today. So I think I'll take a draw all day long Tuesday night and just get back to the den and try and get a result there. Referee atrocious, awful. Had got no joy out of him today whatsoever. The memo is certainly circulating around referee HQ not to get us anything, because he was fucking appalling. Even the free kick, which led to Crocombe saving it, which then led the ball being recycled for them to score, wasn't a free kick. Every little 50-50, every little nudge, he gave a free kick. But when it was the other way, it wasn't reciprocated. Awful referee, fucking terrible. As for Oxford, my first visit there, it is literally a football stadium in a car park. I couldn't believe it, you know. We parked behind the car park, behind the stand. And I said, this can't be a fucking football stadium, but it is what it is. I hope you're well, Nick, and keep our chin up and on to the next one. Bye, mate.
Hi, Nick. David Liederkramer here. After the 2-2 draw yesterday against Oxford, before I say anything about the game, I think a word has to go out to Jake Cooper. 400 appearances for Millwall. Absolute legend, and what a great shame that his goal yesterday wasn't the winner. He is a total legend. The word is often misused or overused, but I think it absolutely applies to him. As far as yesterday was concerned, I wasn't at the game, so I am unusually for me, commenting on something I haven't actually seen, but just wanted to mention a couple of things. First of all, any 96-minute goal to concede is really sickening, and certainly yesterday's was no exception. From what I could see, I think we probably deserved the win. We certainly had better XG. I know it's a metric that a lot of people don't like, but on this occasion it certainly showed that we had a lot more chances than they did. The loss of Aziz and Leonard for a period of time is a very big blow for us. No, there's no getting away from that. Since Aziz has come back into the side following a previous injury, we've looked completely different, and without him we lose a lot of creativity. However, on the plus side, assuming they are fit, we do have still good central defenders, excellent central defenders, and of course we've got Casper and Billy in the middle, who are like rocks and really, I think, are the driving heartbeat of the team. So really it's up to the forward players to sort of establish themselves and really improve in the absence, particularly of Aziz. And I think one way of dealing with this might be to have Negley behind Ivanovic, who is clearly not playing his best, and then put Bangura Williams on the right to sort of try and have some creativity. And I say that because last season Ivanovic and Bangura Williams struck up quite a good partnership, and I think hopefully there may be something in that again. So I think Bangura Williams should now be given his chance. I think we've got two very difficult games coming up, but they're all difficult in the Championship. Birmingham away is going to be tough. They won 4-0 yesterday, so clearly their tails will be up and they're at home. I think Preston also, normally a game that you would think we would get, fairly straightforward, but no, they beat Southampton 2-0, and I think they're in the top 6, 7 or 8. They're doing very well. So these are going to be tough games for Millwall. But this team has shown great resilience. It's shown a tremendous ability to bounce back and to perform well. And let's not forget, 6 games away unbeaten, which is no mean feat for a Millwall team. So I think we should be at least cautiously optimistic. And I think we do have a very, very good manager. By all accounts, the Leonard injury was a big turning point yesterday when he came off. I think it disrupted the team. An extra minute was added onto the game and Oxford scored. But let's also not forget that the 2 Oxford goals were really good goals. The first one in particular was unstoppable. Second one also very well taken. And so you can argue that perhaps the defence didn't do that badly. It wasn't as if somebody made an error of judgment leading to or there was a mistake. So hopefully we're not going to be too down. But I think we're going to have a tough week this week. So let's hope that the boys can dig in and keep on going. Because I think my final thought is there's nothing in this league that we should be frightened of at all. I don't think there's any team, even Coventry, who are that much better than us. So maybe we can go forward and either get into the playoffs or even, you never know, get automatically promoted.
Nick, Aussie Dave here after the Oxford game. Bugger. 1 minute from glory and second position. Must admit, I'm a bit ambivalent about the result. I thought we were solid overall and maybe could argue deserved a win, like Alex Neil said after the game. But I think if Oxford could argue they put enough effort and scored 2 good goals, so deserved a draw. So be interesting to hear the other voicemails. I'm going to review it through players, as I normally do. Going to start off, as I normally do, with Aziz. That's a major injury he's got. And I thought we immediately lucked a bit of penetration down the right once he left. And Lenny, I gather, is going to be out for a little while as well. So the right side of our team, it's been interesting to see how we go in the next 2 games. I thought when Imaku come on, he helped on the right, but I'll talk about Imaku in a minute. Second point, Negley. I don't like him on the right. I think he's too lightweight. He's prone to give balls away in dangerous areas, and he doesn't link with his full back, which, as you know, that's a good way to proceed. However, I thought he was a lot better in the number 10. He was creative, he had a bit more options, and that's clearly his best position. I don't want to see him on the right again. Third point, defence, solid as a rock again. Kramer and Kuma, fantastic. I thought Sturge was a little bit below par, still good. And it needed 2 good goals to penetrate a defence, a well-done defence. Point 4, Imaku. I think the jury is still out. Though I reckon he looks a lot more comfortable on the right. I'd be happy to see him there. And I won't be surprised if he's on the team sheet to play from the start on Tuesday. Fifth one, Mitchell, my man of the match. He came on at there's a bit of a lull between 45 and 60 minutes. He came on and really added a bit of pep, which coincided with Maku going on the right and Negley going in number 10. So it was the whole thing. But Mitchell, he will definitely play on Tuesday, I expect, instead of Delboy to begin with anyway. So well done, Billy. And the last player I want to look at is our wonderful goalkeeper, Crocombe. He looks great. Couldn't do much with the 2 goals. Really happy with him in goal. And I feel a lot more comfortable about our prospects. Right, on to Tuesday. So the right-hand side needs a rejig. They won 4-0 yesterday. I reckon that's going to be a tough game. And we need a draw. Otherwise, this 3-game week could be totally different for the previous 3-game weeks. Anyway, believe in the Blues. Come on, you Lions.
Nick Hart, Bobby T. Half time, do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you, I'm fucking fuming. Same punt as last year, Flanagan. No closing down, 30-yard, top corner. Same as last year. I'm fucking fuming. Should have been out of sight. Should be 3 or 4 up now. As these off now, we're fucked. Half time, gutted. Yeah, me again. You know who I am, Mr. BT. I can't digest the half time. I don't know where you are, Nick, if you're up behind me. The Ballo chance, all right? Cooper's chance. Aziz, deflected corner. We should be 4 up by now. And they get 1 fucking shot on target. Done nothing all game. I can just see Bradshaw comes to get the winner. I hope I'm wrong, man. Bye for now. Yeah, for me, Nick Hart. I'm lost in Oxford. Just got to the station. Nightmare to get home from. Fucking the dodgiest cunts ever. Ref is a fucking cheat. He should be playing Sunday League. Robbed. Nick Hart, Bobby T here. Yeah, I found the fucking station. Never come and hit Oxford again. Shithole. Fucking yeah. Gary Rowett. Fucking when he was at Mill, it was boring anyway. Yeah, they had 2 shots on target. Let's be honest, Nick Hart and all that Achtung Millwall. Like Billy Mitchell, come on, change the game. Neji, for me, I've slated him. He's not a winger. He's the diamond number 10 shape in the hole, number 10. That's his shirt number. But for me, 2 points dropped. Like Billy Mitchell, right at the end, go out to that guy. You know, I'm fucking fuming. I'd rather lose 4-0 than that fucking shit. And we weren't shit. On the train to London, Paddington now. Must be. It's too early. We're not going to get carried away. But for me, Billy Mitchell, my son, I love you. You've got to go out to the man. Great shot. Mac from saved it weren't a free kick. Refs is a cheating cunt. Sunday League fucking should be refereeing Sunday League. Fucking cunt. Robbed. Oxford cunts. Nick Hart, Bobby T. I'm on the platform now. You know what annoys me? The whole second half, Max Perman had no sense at all. The last free kick of the game, great save, parried it out. And then Billy Mitchell or any of the back line rush out to that cunt. Didn't deserve that. Fucking robbed. But I will say, Nick Hart, team played amazing. You know, the first half, okay, winning 1-0, 30-yarder, Oxford. But the second half, I don't fault the players, the passion and the heart. But seeing that 96 minutes where he got that from and just same old Millwall on the road, take a point, man. But for me, robbed. Referees a cunt. On to Birmingham. Yeah, back in Paddington. They're singing and Gary Rowett's football shit. Nick Hart, look, mate, I'm still fuming. I'm in London now, but they're celebrating a draw. Yeah, keep your feet on the ground. I don't know what game you were watching. You said like the Oxford United, tenacity. But Nick, they were fucking boring. They were boring, mate. Full stop, mate. They had a few good pot shots, but we controlled that game. Billy Mitchell made an impact for me. Halloween's come and gone now, and then fucking as he's injured, he's done his hamstring in. So it's just a curse. Doherty, where was Doherty? So all the boys are cheering now, like we've won the fucking league, mate. I can't wait till the end of the season, right? When our celebration party, Oxford at home, our promotion party, and their fucking relegation fucking party. Because for me, that's 2 points dropped, right? Yeah, and then you said today that you watched it. I saw you on the clouds on your little thing now that we didn't play well. I think we did play well, but we just didn't kill off teams. And then right at the last minute, we don't shut up shop and block the fucking shot. Same on Millwall. Anyway, positive note. Where we are now, can't really complain. Fourth, could have been second. And I don't fault the players. And Alex Neil, he even said it felt like a fucking defeat. Bye for now, Bobby T at Paddington. All the fans are saying, Gary Rowett, your football shit, and Alex Neil's got in the hair, we don't care. Bobby T, on to Birmingham. I want a reaction because really and truly, we should have won today. We should be second. Now, I'm not saying we've got to win at Birmingham, but players done all right today, but just concentration. There you go. Bye for now, Bobby T. Nick, Bobby T, one more thing. Did you see like Ballard's control and Aziz's touches? Before Aziz went off, we controlled the game, full stop. We had Oxford in the pocket. They couldn't handle Aziz and Ballo. And as soon as Aziz goes off the curse, and we just fell into our shape. Bye for now, Bobby T. Oh, one more thing. Yeah, your man of match, Leonard. Don't get me wrong. First half, I mean, the whole game, I think Cooper was outstanding. He got his goal. Tristan, I mean, for me, you're saying Leonard. I mean, he had the run, beat two players, shot. Could have been 3-1. We were going for the 3-1, but it just didn't happen. So basically, my man of the match, yeah, Leonard, yeah. I think it's Billy Mitchell. He's come on second half and he's done an impact. And he's just, the only mistake he made is not rushing out quick enough to block that fucking, I don't know, who is that Finland guy, fucking 2-2. Trent here, off to South Ken Victoria, on to Birmingham, bye for now. Millwall. You know what, Nick Roberts here, I'm going to end it with this. I'm at Victoria. Fucking Oxford University cunts. The referee got his license at Oxford University. Fucking robbing, cheating, fucking wage thief. That fucking tall, lanky fucking referee. Let me calm down. What annoys me, Nick, I'm the old Millwall faithful, and you can call me delusional fan or passionate fan, but on Facebook, some fans were saying, calling to bring Bomber back, bring Harris back. And as much as I respect Neil Harris, what he'd done, that game today we lost because of Harris. Remember, was it last year, a couple of years ago, Harris? When obviously he walked off, he quit. It's the same Oxford game, wasn't it? So people were saying on social media, bring Harris back. Are they fucking delusional? Right, yeah? In Alex Neil, I trust, right? Where we are now, sitting nicely, would have been second. It's a long, hard old season. Nothing's won in fucking November, December. So for me, we're in a good place. We're just not killing teams off. When it was 2-1 with Cooper, Lenny had the shot 3-1 and all that. We got to kill teams off. That's what annoys me. People say bring Bomber back. Fucking joke. You know, and Billy Mitchell, one of our own, love him. Add my fucking rant. I'm going to have Chinese. Fuck it. Millwall. Nick Hart, Bobby here. Sorry, I haven't finished yet, and I love the show that much that I need to get my passion out and all that. For me, upfront networking, right? Mihailo, since he's done the contract, since his head got turned by Palmer and all that, today apparently he led the line well, a couple of flick headers. He can't do it by himself. Yeah, the service. I told you Nesley should be a number 10. He's a baller in the middle of the hole, in that sort of little Matthew Letizia role back in the day, Nesley. And back to Mihailo. Just doesn't offer anything. He runs like a headless chicken, fix the ball up in the air, but he can't do it on his own. Now, Langstaff got to be given a go. And Marco, next to me in the crowd, he's a talent going forward, Marco, but his brain freezes and he doesn't know what to do on the next decision. When he gets onto the wing, he can't beat a man, or he's got pace. But the confidence in a Mako or Ido, whatever you want to call him, it freezes. He gets confused and he panics. He doesn't know what the next step is. Where Ballo and Aziz are ballers and they go forward. They got skill, no fear. And where the fuck is the fucking Linda Lovelace, or is it Lovelace? Or where's he gone? But Mihailo, mate, stinking the reserves if you ask me, because it's not working for him. because he's getting no servers. He's doing nothing in the last 2 games. Bye for now. I think Birmingham, we should play Langstaff and Mihailo, but then it's going to mess us up. Bye for now. I'm done now for the night. Love you all. Millwall till I die.
How do I do it all during the holidays? 4 words. Shipped same day delivery. With Shipped, I can order groceries from Albertsons, decor from Michael's, even gifts for my furry friend from PetSmart. Plus, my personal shopper brings everything I need that same day. That makes it a breeze to decorate, get my shopping done, and make time for all the holiday parties. Do it all this holiday season with Shipped. Download the app or visit shipped.com. That's SHIPT.com.
Achtung, Millwall.
Yeah, hi Nick, Martin Colwell here. Ringing in after the Oxford game. I wasn't able to go to the game because I was working Saturday morning, but saw the highlights, saw the injuries as well that probably will keep those players out until after the international break at least, I guess. Big loss Femias is on his current form, but that's how it goes. Injuries have always been a thing in football. We just make more of them now because, you know, social media and the amount of time that's spent analysing these things, and also the pace of the game is quicker now. But I mean, we just have to cope. My big worry is just really the centre forward. I mean, as I said last week, it's just a waste of a shirt at the moment. And I think we need to try to come up with something different really for that, because I think we're just, you know, it's just dragging us down up front as well now. But yeah, maybe free agent, but they're probably not good enough on a short-term contract. Maybe we just have to, I don't know really. It's a tough problem. I don't want to knock the manager. But yeah, Cameron Brannigan, he's got scores long distance goals, and kind of he got one on Saturday, and I think we could have been a bit more aware of that. I know he's a good player, and I wouldn't mind seeing him, sign for Millwall really, because I think he could be a good player off the bench. But yeah, and the second goal, I think it's just not. It's a 96-minute goal, and defending does become a bit desperate, doesn't it? But yeah, I mean, you know, it's just a shot for a crowd, really. We could have dealt with that better. I think we were a bit disjointed because of late subs and injuries and all of a mess. But it's a good draw at Oxford. Gary Rowett knows how to get something against Millwall, and I think we just have to accept that and take the point and move on. Birmingham should be tough in the week because they had a good win, and then we need to try to get a win against Preston. But 3 points from those 2 games is good because it's a long distance game. It's a marathon, and we need to pick up points where we can and just move on in that way. But you know, not much wrong apart from the ability to score goals, and you know, just we've got to really defend these long shots better, because I know stats tell us, XG tells us to allow long shots with a crowded box, but some do go in, you know, and they went in on Saturday, didn't they? So we do need to drop back and defend those. And I think for the second goal, not enough players were dropping back into defensive positions in the 96th minute. But there you go, that's human beings for you, isn't it? You know? Yeah, tough week coming up though, and we need that international break really because of the injuries, and Alfie Doughty's injured now as well, isn't he? And we're going to lack a bit up front, aren't we? So we're going to have to grind out results if we can now. But yeah, let's try to be positive about it. Let's move on. Let's keep the defence solid. I'm interested he comes in at right back. Don't know whether Wes Harding is the best pick against Birmingham, but I don't know what else he's going to do. Danny Mack's not fit enough, I would imagine, and he won't want to bring Cramer out of the middle. But yeah, let's let's give it a go. Let's get behind the team and let's push on for points and see where we are after the international break. Okay, thanks, Nick. Bye for now.
You know, we looked the better side today, and it took two great finishes, didn't it, to rob us of a win. And I thought that after we scored our second goal, we played some terrific football, sometimes in tight spaces. And what a difference Billy Mitchell made in the second half. But look, it wasn't to be. Conceding goals at the worst possible time in any game of football. But look, look at the bright side. We're still unbeaten away from home this season. And the big difference for me from last season is that we are finding the back of the net more regularly. But it's going to be a very tight division this season, with some of the heavyweight clubs struggling at the other end of the table. But consistency is going to be the key if we are going to achieve a top 6 finish. And that might be a season too soon. I don't know. Not sure we're ready yet. But, and also judging by the fact that we got the same result here last season, perhaps the fact that the team and the coaching staff didn't get booed off this time might mean to some fans, it might mean that they think we are a team on the up, and we are. But just when we name an unchanged side, we are losing Femi and Lenny for Tuesday's game, and that's back up to 10 players injured, according to my calculations. At least Coops never received a yellow today, and I believe he's had 4. Which is maybe one away from a 1-game suspension, if one of your dear listeners could confirm that. And yes, Mihailo is struggling, but keep the faith for this boy. He's still only 20. He needs our support. And remember how Richard Sads came good after a very slow start to his Millwall career. Oh, yeah, on my Bravo app feed, I saw more cars behind the goal than Oxford fans. I don't know whether they were still sitting inside them. What kind of an EFL Championship football stadium is that? But big respect to Oxford United for displaying the poppies on all 4 corner flags. Well, those Brummy bastards are up next. It's never an easy game, is it? Come on, you Wall!
Massive thank you to everyone for contributing voicemails to this show, dear listeners. Do give me a shout on X if you want to become a member of the voicemail posse. Posse, not pussy. Posse. Send me a voicemail post-match and join the gang. Why not? Why not? I try and include everybody. I try and keep the shows to an hour. This one's 6 minutes overrun, so I'm going to wind it up here and now, dear listeners. We're going to be speaking to Merv later in the week. Normally I do Monday with Merv, but we've got a midweek fixture at Birmingham, so I'm going to try and make it Wednesday with Merv. So do give me your voice notes in the aftermath of that trip to St Andrews, the Peaky Blinders, on Tuesday night. But from me, Nick Hart, big thank you to everyone who's contributed to the 2 shows. Thank you to everyone that went to Oxford yesterday. Nod of respect to Oxford United for their remembrance service, just to close us out. So there we are. Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
Achtung, Millwall.
Who do you want to watch?
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.